welcome. It is so lovely to have you here I'm sitting in my practice in South Africa and you're all the way in Texas. And I'm so excited to be going on this journey with you today, where we'll be doing some journaling in the sand.
I know it's very exciting. And I have a picture in my background, which is a picture of my last Sandtray office. And so I always love having that and remembering being there and seeing clients and doing all of that.
Mm,
So I'm very glad to be with you all today.
mm. So, what would we
Journaling.
need? Yeah, what would we even need to start?
Journaling.
And
I know.
yeah.
I love, the one thing about Sandtray is I love that it can be used in so many different ways.
Mm,
And I think that's really so important for us because we spend a lot of money and time collecting our Sandtray figures and all of the materials in order to do Sandtray. So the more ways that we can use it therapeutically and for ourselves for self-care, I think helps with that payoff, right?
yeah.
so so I interestingly um I always was told how important journaling was, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on today. But but I never could manage doing a written journal,
Mm.
which is really funny because I'm a writer. But it's to sit down and actually put things down in words just never really worked for me. And so doing my own journaling by using the sand tray was a natural fit before I even thought about it as a form of journaling. It was just something I did.
Mm.
So, but but to get us started and get us connected with our material today, I would like everyone to pick just one figure that kind of expresses how your day's going today.
Okay, let me go
So,
have a look.
okay, all right,
Linda, I'm just going to pause. I see there's some
and
random reflection here. Okay, I have found something in my office.
okay, so let me show you one that I picked. This actually is new. It was a gift, but
Oh, wow.
I'm in the midst of doing a lot of writing. And so all over this person's body are words and then they're reading. So I feel like I'm just cocooned in all the words I'm writing and
Mm.
reading and using at the moment. So my day is full of words. So I love this new figure that matches that.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
share what you have. Yeah.
Okay, so this sits in my office, and it's actually something that we bought together when we were down at the beachfront after the last
Yes,
retreat.
I have one like it over here
And
too.
it just felt very significant and important today. I just saw it and was like, yep, this is the one I'm choosing for today. Just the journey
Good.
that this year has brought, and yeah.
I know, and as we meet together today, looking forward to being together in person in
Mm,
just a few weeks. So all
yeah.
of that is, yeah. Um, so I think it's so important to get some context when we're talking about something like journaling. So this is not a pop quiz, but guess how long ago the first journal was that can be found across the world? How long ago do you think that might have been?
I mean, I'm probably thinking hundreds of years ago.
Yes, 2,000 years ago
Oh,
in
wow.
China, a man in the court of the royal emperor of China went on this long journey for the emperor, and he wrote in a journal not only what his travels were, but how he was responding to the traveling and all of that. So this is an old kind of activity, right? And then there's a woman in Japan, again, hundreds of years ago. Um, this is the oldest recording of a woman writing about her experience in the royal court in Japan. And her diary was called the Dragonfly Diary.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, we know over time that religious leaders and politicians like Julius Caesar and artists like Michelangelo, we have the privilege of actually being able to see their journals and all of those kinds of incredible historical ways that people have written down not only their daily activities, but how they're feeling about things. And Michelangelo, I mean, was like a scientist, and we had all those kinds of things put down. But really, using it for psychotherapeutic purposes has only come about since the 20th century. So, which makes sense because psychotherapy has only been around about that long.
Yeah.
So, but it is interesting that as soon as psychotherapy was developed, counseling or journaling became a part of that. And so I think there is that sense of, we've always known that being able to be self-reflective and self-aware has been very important about being a fully actualized person, right? So it's always been a part of that. So different kinds of journaling. There was a great article I read about different types of journaling. So many of us who, and some of you who are watching, may have even had this happen when you were in graduate school. In some courses, you might have had to do some kind of journaling. I know when I was a professor, I had students turn in journals, right? In different kinds of classes where I wanted that self-exploration to be really part of that. And then there's a lot of people do spiritual journaling. It could take many different forms, of course, depending on your spiritual background or belief system, but just that whole personal reaction to spiritual and religious events in our lives. For many psychotherapists, we ask our clients to keep dream logs. And I don't know if you've ever done that, Tanya, but a dream log. I haven't, but yeah. So
I think the frustrating thing is when you're trying to do a dream log and you had a dream, but you didn't write it down when you woke up, and then you're like,
right,
it
just appears. Yes. So I know Terry Kottman. Many of you know her as an Adlerian play therapist and Sandtray therapist. She talks about how she has a pad of paper by her bed, and even in the middle of the night, she'll wake up and she'll write things down, like things she wants to think about as she's writing or whatever. And then she says sometimes in the morning, though, she can't read what she wrote, like she knew it was important. So that's probably how I would be with the dream log. So, but so, and then diaries. I think young girls, particularly, at least in the United States, are often given a diary as a young girl to write down what's happening in their life and that kind of thing. But these days, it's all online, right? There's all kinds of e-journals and blogs that people write about their journaling, and some of them invite interaction with whoever's reading their blog about their journaling. So lots of different purposes and ways of doing journals. I think the fun thing with Sandtray is we as Sandtray therapists, we know the importance of the creative process. And we know that while we're creating a tray, often images come out of our right brain that we have no idea what they mean, but they're very important, right? So we know that that it gives a voice to things we're not aware of. We can express ourselves in different kinds of ways. We can even put down in the tray, we can think we're doing something very concrete about what happened during the day, but then it takes on a deeper meaning when we look at it further, right? So the good part about that is, of course, using it with clients, is it helps. For me, why I would ask a client to do it would be it extends therapy, right? It's not only just a form of journaling, but it continues to keep that creative, insightful process happening during the week. I wish someone would do research on that. You know,
Yeah.
have a set of clients do a Sandtray every night as journaling, and maybe do a written journal as a second control group, and then have somebody doing with clients with no kind of outside of session, and see if it would shorten treatment.
Yeah.
My clinical hunch is it would, right?
Mm. Because
Because
you're
you're
accessing
continuing to
other
have the
parts.
exactly,
Mm.
and you're reminding them during the week that this is all about doing their therapeutic work, right? I mean,
Mm.
how often do we have clients
Yeah.
give them homework and they come back the next week and they go, "Oh, I forgot about it. I
Yeah.
didn't do it." You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But so, have you used journaling of any form with clients?
I have, and I found it's sort of mixed, and I think that was something that was really exciting about us planning today was where you said, for people that struggle with writing, I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
potentially something newer with our new generation that is maybe more digital or something, but it's so I sometimes
Mm.
get people to do voice notes to themselves, so where they can do like so they can record things. So I try and mix it up and do new ways. And when you mentioned this, I was like, wow, yes. Maybe it's for the people that are a bit more creative or willing to try. And when I collected some stuff for my Sandtray today, I went around in the garden, and so it was also just a beautiful experience being outside and getting into nature too. So people could potentially go on walks and collect things while they're walking and build a tray when they get home, or you could really
Yeah,
expand in so many
absolutely.
ways.
Yeah, because we do know how important it is to get outside, right?
Mm,
And I'm reading this new book about good energy, is called.
mm,
And it's written by a doctor, and one of her points is that our modern society spends too much time inside.
mm.
And so we need to, just like we need to exercise and get out and walk, get out and do that in the sunshine, right?
Yeah,
Because we need that dose of sunshine. And
exactly. I
so
mean,
there's
imagine.
lots of, yes,
Mm. You could build a sand tray in the garden. You could literally
right,
use some sand somewhere and build something together
right.
and just be on the beach or, yeah.
Yeah. You live near a beach, so you have that advantage. I do
Yeah.
not, but but I could make a place. I can make a place
Yeah.
outside.
Or you just have people come visit more and we've got beaches.
That's right. I'll have to visit more. That's right. So I think what's really important, and I would like to stress, because often when I do these kinds of trainings, people want prompts. What's a
Mm,
prompt? What prompt should I give? And I always say, tailor make it to your client, right? What's important to your client at this point in your treatment process? So why do you want them to journal? I know some of my colleagues have their clients journal during the entire course of their therapeutic relationship. So
mhm.
all during treatment, they journal. Other times, it might be that there's something particularly like they feel really stuck, or they're having recurring intrusive thinking or thoughts. There may be a particular reason why you're deciding at this point, excuse me, at this point in treatment, I want them to do a little extra work outside of session,
Mm.
right? So I think it would depend what the purpose is. Why are you having your client
Okay.
doing?
So
Yeah,
in a way, the prompt is just think, what does your client need right now? And then add in whatever it is.
create, right, then create the prompt for that particular client.
Okay.
However, there is, excuse me, we have some allergy problems here in Texas this morning. But there is some research that does show on the whole process of doing journaling that asking them to put emotions only in the tray can be counter therapeutic.
Okay.
So adding gratitude is really critical. Isn't that interesting?
That is.
So, yeah, so the research shows that focusing on Cognitions, gratitude, and emotions, the heart, developed a greater awareness of the positive benefits, for example, of a stressful event. So those are
Okay.
research findings. Yeah. And then other research showed that consistent engagement with expressing gratitude in a journal helps with emotional balance, helps with improving relationships, boosting self-esteem, improving sleep quality. How's that?
That sounds amazing.
And a
Sign
reduction.
me up.
That sounds right. We can all use a little more sleep, right? And reducing stress. So I would say and
Mm.
recommend that whatever prompt you have regarding doing the journaling in the Sandtray is to always add and gratitude. Put a symbol of gratitude.
Okay. So if I'm understanding it, say for example, the client is stressed about a work situation, and so you would go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what are you needing right now? What is stressing you out? And then end it with, and then find something that you're grateful for today as well.
Yes.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
would they do that all in one tray, or if they wanted to, could they have separate trays? Does it really, so
Yeah, I
whatever
don't think it
feels
matters.
right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. But I think in that whole process, we want to add the gratitude component.
Okay.
So
Because I was
they
just
can
thinking
do
it
it
would be
however.
really interesting to then also see how they feel they can either combine it or if it's separate and potentially work towards bringing those two together
Right,
if they
exactly.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they can. Right.
Mm.
Right. So let's take a moment here to stop and think about being us working with clients. And if we're working with a client and we want to have them, I thought I had a prompt written down here. Um, I don't. So see, I was waiting to do it in the moment. So and for all those people watching, I would like you to pretend you're a client
Mhm.
and um, or think about a particular client that you might want to use Sandtray Journaling with, and ask them to make a tray at home, just collecting whatever items they might have around the house. And that could be, doesn't have to be a sand tray. It could be a bowl. It could be a baking sheet. It could be anything to contain, just some kind of a container for their elements, their figures. And just ask them to just reflect on their day. How has their day been? Being sure to add something about gratitude for the day. And we're
Okay.
going to give you about 5 minutes to quickly do a tray. And then we'll come back and look at a tray and do a little bit of processing about how you would then talk with your client about that. So let's take just 5 minutes and do a tray from home.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.